Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. This is Vimoh Live. I'm Vimoh, and this is live. It happens every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. We talk about contemporary Indian issues, atheism, religion, and everything adjacent. The most recent topic, obviously, is a couple of very suspiciously distractionary pieces of news. And we are going to talk about both of them. If you have questions or comments, you can leave them in the chat. On Saturday, I take live callers, but on Wednesday, I don't take live callers. I only talk by reading the live chat. And that's what we are going to do today. Before I proceed, let me just remind you that this channel is supported by people like you. If you want to support this channel, you can do so by becoming a member of the channel by clicking the join button below, or by sending a super chat in the live chat here, or by sending money directly to Vimoh at UPI, VIMOH at the rate UPI. Uh, there is also a Patreon page at patreon.com/Vimo. And of course, you can always go to my website at www.vimo.in and click on the support button there to make your contribution. There's no membership there, it's just a one time contribution thing. So choose an amount of your choice and uh, send whatever contribution you think you can. I understand that it is not possible for everyone to do so, and that is perfectly okay. You don't have to pay. The content itself is free. It is supported by donations from people like you who can pay. If you can't pay, it's perfectly all right. The content is still going to be available to you. So, two pieces of news. First, rumors on TV news channels that the government, in this surprise parliament session that it has called, which is unprecedented, by the way, parliament session without any agenda. The prime minister seems to think that the parliament is his private property and he can just call everyone in for a party every once in a while, as if there are no other stakeholders. Usually what happens is that the parliament session, whenever a surprise or out of time parliament session is called, there is a good reason for it, and we have had plenty of good reasons in recent times. We have had major accidents, we have had a pandemic, we have had gruesome riots in Manipur, we have had gruesome riots in the national capital also. On none of these occasions there was a special parliament session, but for some reason this time there is a special session a few months away from the general election of 2024. If at all it happens in 2024 instead of 2023, because there is also rumor mongering about whether maybe the government would want to have it earlier. And this last week, I was on Meghnad's channel, and we were talking about this other shigufa that has been floating around, which is One Nation, One Election. If you have not seen it, please go to Meghnad's channel. It's at Meghnerd, Meghnerd, and watch our entire conversation. Pranav was also there. We talked about a bunch of stuff. But the part about One Nation, One Election is a separate clip also, if you just want to skip the entire thing and just get to that part. That's the other thing. The third thing is, oddly enough, this bizarre thing about the name of the country being changed from India to Bharat. And I clarified a few concerns I had with this on my Instagram handle this morning, and I'll repeat it in very short. If at all this is on the plans, it is not a plan to change the name of India to Bharat. We already have two names. It's India and Bharat. It is not as if the name India is removed and Bharat is going to be brought in. Bharat is already there. India is already there. So the only thing that they could possibly be looking to do is remove the name India. I do not think this is going to happen. I think this is a distraction from the Adani issue, which the government is afraid of bringing up. If you look for Adani right now, if you search for Adani and go into Google News, you'll not find any concerns being raised about Adani by opposition members or any, members of the media outside India. You'll only get business news. The Adani Group, itana rise, itana fall, and all of that, which I don't understand. But the corruption charges against Adani are completely disappearing from the news because we are all obsessed with this India thing. And I think this might very well have been the goal behind it. The surprise parliament session may also be something कि सरप्राइज पार्लियामेंट सेशन का डाल देता हूँ, मतलब इसको डिस्कोर्स के अंदर 2 हफ्ते तक लोग इसी के साथ ऑब्सेस्ड रहेंगे, अडानी के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे, और अगर अडानी के बारे में बात करने का मन किया तो ये और 2-4 डिस्ट्रैक्शंस तो हैं ही, जैसे इंडिया. A third thing that is on the plate is Stalin's son. I think his name is Dayanidhi. Hold on. Um, Mm, 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 mm. Somebody had pointed it out. Uh, Udayanidhi, yes. Udayanidhi Stalin has said that Sanatan Dharma is. He has said some stuff about Sanatan Dharma. I don't want to misquote him, but there is a lot of controversy over this apparently in North India. But surprisingly, or rather not surprisingly, not so in South India because this is par for the course there. The South India is home to the Dravidian movement, and Dravidian movement is closely allied with social justice issues like anti anti-caste activism, or oppression of any variety that is social in nature. So I mean, all oppression is social. I don't know why I said that, but this is par for the course there. This has Anyone who's surprised by Udanidhi saying this has clearly never read Dr. Ambedkar's writings or Periyar's writings. This is normal. uh, India is a free country. Everyone has the right to say whatever they want. Someone asked me, "Are you in support of that BJP spokesperson saying those things about Islam some time ago?" And my answer then, as it is now, was yes. Religion should not be such a holy cow, pun not intended, that people don't even get to talk about it. People don't even get to speak about whether they like it or not. And it is perfectly okay to say the thing that he said, just as it was perfectly okay for Nupur Sharma to say the things that she said. I'm an atheist. I don't have a dog in the fight, except in the way that I am opposed to religion on account of being an atheist. But I think that more North Indian people or news commentators or journalists should become aware of the way politics runs in down south. If they did know more about this, they would not be as horrified as they are right now. And there are other reasons behind this also, but I suppose there will be questions, and maybe I can get to answering those questions then. So let's look at some comments. Today is going to be an interesting session. Everyone who's watching, please like the stream also. Thank you. First of all, Meghna, thank you for being a member for 10 months. Full support for Vimoh sir. Such an Odia thing to say. ओडिशा ने तुम्हारे एक्सेंट को ओडिशा ने तुम्हारे एक्सेंट पे कब्जा कर लिया मेघनाथ. राइट. सो मैं एथिज्म वाले क्वेश्चन आज थोड़े बाद में लूंगा अगर लिए तो. लेट्स सी. Annamalai AN says India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. However, it is unnecessary to change the name of Bharat. India, that is Bharat, is already in the constitution. That phrase, India, that is Bharat, was designed to accommodate both names. There is no need to remove one or to replace anything. This is Notanki. This is distractionary Notanki. They're not going to do it. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen. Surya says Hemanta Biswa Sarma said that Congress used Bharat for Bharat Jodo Yatra, but is criticizing the government for using Bharat for G20 invite, implying that somehow Congress is hypocritical to criticize the move made by government, while not realizing that usage of Bharat in Bharat Jodo Yatra is different when Bharat is used for G20. Yeah, exactly. They're not opposed to use of the word Bharat. They're simply wondering why President of India की जगह President of Bharat लिखा है, which is uncharacteristic. These things have some kind of continuity, right? Governmental practices with respect to how we deal with the world have certain common continuities. You don't write President of Bharat, you write President of India. We have done this for a number of years. So for something like that to change is not only disrespectful to, you know not only disrespectful to the aspect of our country, that is India, it is also just bizarre. Why would someone write President of Bharat? Jaren says, can't wait for foreign news anchors to call us bear rat over the weekend. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine if this happens? Vloggers will come to India and then try unsuccessfully to say one sentence in Hindi, and they will say, uh, मैं बारात में आया हूँ. And then suddenly a band party appears out of nowhere doing bang, 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 bang. Illuminati says Stalin's son had to spill the beans and stay in NDA alliance right before good election build-up. Likely he's an atheist, just like his father. Wish he had used Hindutva rightfully instead of Sanatan. Uh, See, yes, it is going to create complications for the India alliance up in the north. But in the south, if the India alliance completely puts its weight behind this, they stand to gain in the south. If BJP, I would be very interested to see the BJP taking action against this, and then to what extent that action is going to be successful as far as their success in Tamil Nadu or in other southern states is concerned. In in the north, they can totally say, "Eh, Hindu विरोधी, Hindu विरोधी, Hindu विरोधी." साउथ में नहीं फ्लोट करेगा ये. And if they have any hopes of regaining their positions in the south, they might want to steer clear of this controversy, or rather, create this controversy. Surya says, unrelated, but read an article by Delio trying to defend Raksha Bandhan. It was basically one big giant straw man of a liberal position on the topic, also a decent chunk of ad hominem attacks. Okay, I'll look it up. Varun says, Stalin's son is based for calling out the evils of Sanatan Dharma. Yeah, I agree. There is nothing wrong with calling out the evils of a religion. There's nothing wrong with calling out the evils of Islam. There's nothing wrong with calling out the evils of Sanatan Dharma or Christianity or Zoroastrianism or anything. Religions are ideas, and ideas can be criticized. Pink Panther, hello. Dragoon says, I do observe Tamil politics as my parents are from there. Udanidhi Stalin is the worst ever person to bring up this talking point. I hate that it has to be him carrying the torch. There are rumors of entire DMK appeasing Christians and Muslims. TNCM has said that on stage that Islam is a religion of equality and gave women rights. That does not do this rhetoric any favor. I have not heard of these comments being made. All I am commenting on right now is this particular statement made by Udanidhi. Varun says Tamil Nadu still has caste problems, so calling out Sanatan Dharma is necessary. Uh, Dragoon says, I personally have no issues with permanently changing the name to Bharat. What makes me uncomfortable is the underlying political maneuvering, the money history lost with this change, their problem. I have a problem with the name being permanently changing to Bharat. There is incredible amount of brand value associated with the name India. If tomorrow तुम्हारा किसी अमीर परिवार का बच्चा विदेश जाता है पढ़ने के लिए और वहाँ जाके बोलता है आई एम फ्रॉम भारत, लोगों को समझ में नहीं आएगा और वो कन्फ्यूजन अननेसेसरी है. We have a long history, really long history with interacting with the world. The word India apparently comes from Greeks. Like it goes back more than 2000 years. So there is no reason to just deny our entire historical dharohar with respect to that name and replace it with one name. Two names is better than one name. In fact, it is something we should all be proud of, that our country has breadth as far as global relations are concerned, that we have two names, one name according to which we are called over there, one name according to which we are known here. There is nothing like, I find that a whole lot of right wing historical revisionism is powered by small mindedness. And this is an example of it. If at all it is true, it is more likely that this is not true. According to me, I could be wrong. Varun says Dragoon's Christianity in India got caste problem because many upper caste people converted to it but never left their privileged position and their hate for lower caste. Yeah. क्रिश्चियनिटी को मतलब कास्ट सिस्टम के लिए क्रिटिसाइज करना है तो सबको कर सकते हो, पर अगर सच में उसका ओरिजिन देखना है तो तुमको पता है ओरिजिन क्या है. इस्लाम इज नॉट टू ब्लेम फॉर इट, क्रिश्चियनिटी इज नॉट टू ब्लेम फॉर इट, दे आर टू बी ब्लेम्ड फॉर हैविंग इट, दे कांट बी ब्लेम्ड फॉर स्टार्टिंग इट. Dragon says, Varun, the point remains, even if Uday was right, he is probably the worst person to bring up this issue. One of his party members got their child excommunicated because of caste issues. Again, I don't know about this. I'm commenting only on this one particular thing. Siddharth says he's made a new movie dedicated to addressing caste issues. Who has? Okay, तुम लोग का conversation थोड़ा skip कर रहा हूँ because you're talking to each other. Siddharth says, watch, granted they're a shady bunch, it's possible his anti-caste stance is genuine. Okay. Naman says, how can someone be nationalist without nation? Naman, thank you for watching on Twitch. This is also going live on Twitch, by the way. Twitch.tv. Hold on, let me just show you. Twitch.tv/The Vimoh Show is the handle. If you want to watch on Twitch, you can do so here. So Naman says, कहाँ गया? Naman, कहाँ गया? हाँ. How can one be nationalist without nation? So that was a comment on our. I put out a reel this morning about how in the year 2023 in India we have people who call themselves nationalist, but they hate the name of the country, they hate the constitution of the country, they hate the culture of the country, they hate people of the country, they hate people from multiple state. मेरे उंगलियां खत्म हो गई right hand में. They hate people from multiple states. They hate multiple religions. They are talking about changing the constitution, changing the flag, changing the national language, changing the देश का नाम बदलने के ऊपर तुले हुए हैं। ये काहे के नेशनलिस्ट हैं? एंड वेयर इज दैट नेशन towards which they are devoted? If they want to destroy every single symbolic representation of this nation, in what universe can such people be called nationalists? These are people who are insulting our freedom fighters on a daily basis. These are people who are denying our history. These are people who are worshipping the literal assassin of Mahatma Gandhi. How are they nationalists exactly? How? In what universe? Like, अगर अगर ये लोग देशभक्त हैं, तो देशद्रोही कौन है? कौन है? सीरियसली आई एम रियली कन्फ्यूज़्ड। अगर देशभक्ति का डेफिनिशन चेंज हो गया क्या? मतलब कोई मेमो भेजा गया था जो मुझे मिला नहीं और मैं पीछे रह गया हूँ क्योंकि बाकी सबको ये बात समझ में आ चुकी है। पर अगर ये लोग देशभक्त हैं, अगर ये भारत के हर एस्पेक्ट से घृणा करने वाले लोग अगर देशभक्त हैं, तो देशद्रोही कौन है? दैट वाज़ माय क्वेश्चन। These are nationalists without a nation. They're nationalists, but the nation to which they are devoted is not this nation because they clearly, openly, brazenly hate everything about it. Surya says, Varun, yeah, he was right on Hinduism there. Don't know about other stuff, bro. Oh, though. Hemchandra says, met a girl some days ago whose ultimate ambition is to join RSS and serve the nation. RSS is where people go when they want to be known as serving the nation, but they don't actually want to do anything. Eh, लंबी तान के सो जाओ. Prime says Uday should say all religions should be gone. Light Yagami hip hop hai lalla. Oh, okay. uh, Manish says, "Hey Vimoh, what is that big fat Agatha Christie book in your bookshelf?" It's a collection of short stories. It's called Agatha Christie over 50 stories. It's a collection of all the short fiction. By the way, some of it is quite bad. Like you grew up worshipping a writer for all the genius they brought to the genre, but then some of it is either their early work or work that they phoned in, and it's not really up to the standard that you imagine every Agatha Christie story must be. Blue Panther says, "Hi Vimo, पता पता इनको भी है इंडिया नाम नहीं बदला जा सकेगा, बस इनको अपने फेलियर से डाइवर्ट कर या इट्स अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन, मोस्टली अ डिस्ट्रैक्शन." Varun says Bharat is a name originally used for dominant Vedic tribe called Bharatas. Even people after Vedic period, when they say they are Bharatiya, meant they were descendants of the Bharata tribe. I have also heard a Mahabharata explanation for this or something. Ansar, thank you for the अरे अंसार की इमोजी स्क्रीन पे दिख रहे हैं, तुम लोग को दिखते नहीं, क्या हो रहा है ये? अंसार ने कौन सा जादू किया है? थैंक यू अंसार. लाइट सेज भारत इज फॉर नॉर्थ इंडियन, इट्स हिंदी imposition. Okay. Barnali, thank you for the 100 rupee super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. People, be like Barnali, support the show. Uh, TTOGFT, beware of malaria. What? Um, Prime says, Varun, at least Bharat represents few of us, but India represents none of us. Nope, India represents all of us. The fact that you are in denial of that fact is not my problem or anybody's problem, really. Varun says, which, in your opinion, is less cringy name, Bharat or India? I think both are beautiful. Siddharth says, wonder what they are going to actually do while everyone is losing their shit about the name and Udaynidhi. Yeah, I think it may be that they actually want to bring some kind of uh, sane measure. Like it's entirely possible that they will be like, haha, तुम लोग समझते थे हम ये सब सी चीजें करने वाले हैं. We are actually going to bring one third representation for women in the parliament. Something like that. Um, Ajay says, have you seen how there is cover up of poverty in national capital for G20 summit? Oh yeah, they did this in Gujarat also when Trump was visiting. गरीबी को नहीं हटाना है, गरीबों को हटाना है. छुपा दो सब कुछ, किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा. Sai Deepak says, is it constitutionally possible to change the name? What would be the procedure? The procedure, I don't know what the procedure would be. I don't think it is practically possible. Because then you are going to have to send official communications to every nation in the world, and there is I don't know where this thing come from. There are some rumors about Pakistan wanting the name India, which would be really weird because then we will truly, I think, be living in some kind of bizarre world at that point. India gives up the name India, Pakistan takes the name India, and then ये लोगों को instead of saying go to Pakistan, they will have to say go to India. और पाकिस्तान के लोकल लोग, हाँ, देखा हम तो कह रहे थे तुमको इंडिया जैसा बनना चाहिए, हम इंडिया बन गए और क्या चाहिए? We really live in we really live in bizarre times. Um, Bobby says our PM is efficient in changing the nations and places names, but not efficient in development. Yeah, it's low hanging fruit, isn't it? There is a city with a lot of problems. There are bad roads, no hospitals, civic infrastructure नहीं है और पुलिस को अच्छी ट्रेनिंग नहीं मिली है. बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं. What is easier, fixing those problems or changing the name? Changing the name. They all it's a lazy option. It is a low hanging fruit. When you don't actually want to do any governance, you do shit like this. Jay Kishan says, "Hello, Vimoh. I've been listening to your podcast on Spotify for a few weeks now. Just want you to specify more frequently that Spotify is not monetized. I would have joined live earlier for support." Oh, okay. I actually said this a few weeks ago, but I don't want to repeat the thing about Spotify not being monetized in every episode. But I'll say it now, guys. I don't make any money from Spotify. So if you're listening on Spotify and you enjoy it, please by all means go ahead and do so. But if you want to support the show, one way of doing that, in addition to sending money or in as an alternative to sending money, is to just watch it on YouTube because YouTube पे ads आते हैं and that adds to my income. Thanks. Wrestling lyrics, thank you for the 400 rupee super chat. They say, I think what Uday Stalin meant was Ambedkar meant by Brahmanism, right? Ambedkar promised in 22 vows of Buddhism, I renounce Hinduism, which disfavors humanity. He's not criticizing people, he's criticizing ideology, in my opinion. You're completely right. You're completely right. That is exactly how this should be taken. Of course, it is in the BJP's interest to pretend as if this is about genocide or something, which it is not. I saw Amit Malviya saying that it's about genocide of Hindus. अमित मालवीय को जेनोसाइड के अलावा हर चीज़ जेनोसाइड दिखती है. उसको कोई मैसूर पाक ऑफर कर देगा तो जेनोसाइड चिल्लाएगा. The only time he will not say genocide is when actual genocide is being proposed by certain people uh, in, you know, wait, where was the sentence going? I lost track of that sentence. But you get my point. Um, mm, mm, mm. Arjun says, Vimo, what do you think is the future of Pakistan as their economy is crushing down day by day? I honestly don't care. It's their nation, their problems, they can solve it. We have bigger problems. I try to keep my focus here. Uh, Manob says people will now take the one nation, one election, one BS from Bhajipaos lying down. No protest will be there against attack against our democracy. No, Manob, I don't be so pessimistic. We have had terrible decisions made by this government in the recent past, and people have protested against it. Some protests got major, covered majorly on social media. News to bhuli jao. It's not news, it's entertainment. But some protests, many protests. There are teachers' protests about teachers who have not been paid for a number of months now. Our economy is not doing so well in those respects. We can spend enormous amount of money on ads showing that India is shining, but if the people who are making India work are not getting salaries for months on end, then in what way is India shining? And I'm sure people will protest against this. People have been protesting against this. Rushikesh has a question about Maratha reservation. Rushikesh, I'm actually not much aware of it, so I would rather not comment on it. Raj says, imagine if they had seen Periyar breaking Ganesha idols. Imagine. There were, I think, in a number of ways, we have actually gotten to a point where uh, things that could have things that could happen about 30, 40, 50 years ago are no longer possible in India. I hope we can go back to being a society where religion can be criticized more brazenly than it is right now. And I'm frankly slightly relieved also that if the Dravidian movement becomes a singular alternative to Hindutva politics in India, it may also become the place where rationalists can survive, right? Because the thing that Hindutva does very well is appropriate things. Hindutva, in the run up to the 2014 elections, appropriated Dalit politics and benefited from it. Right now, it is in the process of appropriating atheism and rationalism. In the coming months, if Dravidian movement keeps up and becomes a place that is a solid alternative to Hindutva politics, then we might be in a place where there will be rationalists on the Dravidian side, and then there will be so-called Hindu atheists on the Hindutva side. And at that point, disambiguation, clarifying problems, uh, clarifying that there is more to being an atheist than simply rejecting the idea of God, and that if you are opposed to religion, what you are really opposed to is the darkness that it brings to society. And if that is indeed the case, your opposition should also be to other supernatural practices which hide behind the label of culture. All these things have to be clarified in the months to come. And I hope that this happens. Hmm. Taranga says it is just dual names like Turkey, Turkey, for example. But this regime wants only one of everything. This push for standardization only will reduce their vote share. Yes, the BJP, by harping on this, India matter or one language matter or one leader, etc., everything except one caste, is signing its own death warrant. Mukesh, thank you for being a member. Mukesh says Supreme Court in the past already had dismissed various pleas in requesting name change official to Aryavarth and Bharat permanently. Yeah. Uh, uh, One thing that a lot of us don't realize is that the number of silly petitions before the Supreme Court is a ploy to waste its time so that it does not get to real issues. A lot of cases, they know that they will lose if they come in before the court, but the court cannot get rid of cases without hearing them. So they what they do is they flood the court with a barrage of completely meaningless, inane petitions. कोर्ट अगर आज के दिन 5 ऐसे पिटिशंस के ऊपर अपना अटेंशन दिया, then a number of important issues get postponed because of it. So this happens. Prithvi says, I suggest naming Saraswati Tarangini Vasi Pradesh. Here we Sanskritized India. Of course, always Jambudvipa is there. Blue Panther says, Hi Vimoh, जब तक लोग पिछला करतब समझे तब तक नया तमाशा आ जाता है. बस यही चल रहा है पिछले 9.5 सालों से देश के साथ. हाँ, कर्तव्य ही चलते रहते हैं. कर्तव्य पथ नाम दिया था नजर रोड का. Shaunak says, why do our opposition leaders get sucked into this manipulation of narrative game? Why can't they hammer the Adani issue? I am sure they must have some friends in the media houses paid off by Adani. I mean, it is one thing to have friends in a media channel, and it is quite another thing to have that channel owned by the person who you want criticized. Dragoon says Indic wingers like Anand Ranganathan, only one Achilles heel with Udaynidhi Stalin is that if he had said the same about Islam, there would be civil. Like we are supposed to be grateful for that. Yeah. The point is, a lot of Hindus who say ये बात इस्लाम के बारे में बोलते तो ऐसा होता, they're not really saying कि the thing is wrong. They're saying the thing is right, but you can't say it about Islam, so don't say it about us either. I would rather live in a country where we can say that about Islam and can say it about Hinduism. Taranga says everyone saying they have no problem with switching to only Bharat as the name are not thinking of all the queues we will have to stand in to get documents changed. Yeah. Rushikesh says, what are your views on Maratha reservation? Already said, I am not really having a position on that right now. Thirubai says the constitution recognizing India and Bharat is another example of its inclusiveness. Leave it to BJP to divide us over this as well. Yes. Mm. Nai Ranjit says this Bharat thing is such a huge distraction. The Japanese are much more insular than we are. Yet I don't hear any Japanese wanting to remove the name Japan in favor of Nippon alone. Yeah, the Japanese when they are outside of Japan, aram se use Japan, and locally they will say Nippon. Hi, hello, bye. Says Twitch hype. Unfortunately, StreamYard does not allow me to access Twitch hype feature here, but you should feel free to do it. I think I got some paid subscribers on Twitch also. I promise you guys, I'm going to do a Twitch stream, a Twitch only stream sometime soon, and we're going to react to stuff when we do. Bobby says he's addressing social evils of Sanatandam like caste. Taranga says also there are a lot of non-Sanatani Hindus who are sick of the push for Sanatan Dharma cultural practices to be standardized. Yeah, there are those also. Shaunak says also a lot of the influencers who are propagating the false colonial history of the name India promoted Hindi language in the same breath. Uh, Surya says, speaking of this, people may say that people may say that because a majority of languages refer to India as Bharat, we should therefore call India Bharat. What do you think of this? It's the same stupid argument as most 57% of people speak Hindi. So what? Is there like a necessary category of a national language that has to be filled? Is there a necessary slot of एक नाम चाहिए हमको, एक नाम चूज़ करना, तुम चूज़ करो अभी. We can have two. There is no harm in it. Right. Thank you, Dhruv Kohli, for becoming a new member. Much appreciated. Thank you, Saikat Chatterjee, for the 100 rupee super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you, Rahul Dikshit, for the 400 rupee super chat. Super. There is no chat. Super chat. Uh, Thank you. Much appreciated. People, I'll just take this opportunity to remind you that this channel is supported by people like you. And uh, if you want to support the work I do, there's a good way of doing it. You can click the join button below and become a member of the channel, or you can send a super chat like these nice people have. Only if you can. If you can't, it's okay. You can also support the channel on www.vimoh.in. Click the support button, or on Patreon at patreon.com/Vimoh. Or if you don't want the any service fee to cut off and all the money you send to come to me directly, you can send it to Vimoh at UPI. VIMOH at the rate UPI. It's my UPI handle. Thanks. Mm. Nazneen, I think they can be called traitors to the concept of India. Yeah, nations are concepts only. What else are there? Like it's a landmass with people living on it. It is the concept and the conceptual framework of this, a combination of systems that holds that population together under the same legal framework and cultural practices. A nation is a concept. Um, Balaji Raju says Gandhi is a racist towards Africans. I have no respect for him. Don't call him Mahatma. See, I have a way to do this. Gandhi is an unmistakably important historical figure. I don't agree with everything he did. I don't agree with everything he said, but it is impossible to deny his place in history. And I am understanding also that a lot of people are going to criticize him. So I make a distinction between those criticisms. When criticism of Gandhi comes from Dalit Bahujan Adivasi people about his casteist views, it is valid criticism, and I completely agree with them. When criticism comes from Sanghis or saffron quarters and Godse worshippers, I do not consider it valid criticism. So the only reason I use Mahatma Gandhi is because that is a name we have grown accustomed to using. I could say Gandhi, and maybe I should. So that's a point I'll keep in mind. Human Rights and Peace Works and Efforts Union says that it will take a long time for human species to survive in science. What is your opinion on this? What? It will take a long time for human species to survive in science. What is? I don't know what you mean by this. Could you ask this question again more clearly? Um, mm, mm, mm. Thomas Cromwell says Gandhi is not a monolith that existed in a single sliver of moment. He was once a child too and held all kinds of bigoted opinions. What makes him a Mahatma is his brilliant gift to Indians. I think the word Mahatma is avoidable. I usually just say Gandhi. Surya says, is it a fallacious, slippery slope to say Hindutva will target Muslims, then Christians, then people who are westernized or leftist, then not religious Hindus? I am confused here. No, I don't think it is fallacious at all. If Hindutva is an ideology that thrives by dividing people, what happens when one of the divisions it has created disappears? It creates new ones. It is most definitely going to happen. It against Christians, it already happens. Against people who are westernized or leftist, it already happens. It is not as if I'm speculating. It is not as if Hindutva is buddy with all these people, and only after Muslims go away from the scene that this will start happening. We have scholars who are leftists in jail right now for no crime. We have churches being burned by Hindutva so-called activists. Arun says philosophy will lose its value as science evolves. Philosophy is way like belief, your thoughts. Well, it depends. Sometimes philosophy is aligned with science, right? And in that case, it's not outdated. Science is about observing and coming to conclusions on the basis of evidence. You cannot observe everything. But the things that you cannot observe, you should not just imagine or accept as true. It is possible to speculate within the scientific framework. And if philosophy does that, then wonderful. That's the best kind of philosophy, in my opinion. Dhruv says, imagine if there's an apocalypse and years later people find Harry Potter books in the ruins and everyone believes Harry, Ron, Hermione are gods. Voldemort is Danav. Yeah. I've made a video on my main channel called Mythology is Not History. Please watch it. It's basically the same idea. Tarun Music TV says, if they succeed after 24, we will all have to queue up to get our passports, driver's licenses, Aadhars, even currency notes changed. It will be demonetization chaos into 10. Absolutely. Which is why we should make sure that does not happen. Um, Rationalist student says, I think Rigved describes a battle of 10 kings, and one of the tribes that was fighting was named Bharata tribe. The tribe was from the winning side. Yes. Ashok Banker, I believe, has turned that into a novel, or he was planning to. I don't know if he ever wrote it. It was called Battle of the 10 Kings. IEC0 says this cover up happened during Commonwealth Games in Delhi when Sheila Dikshit was there. Nothing much changes except these guys have gone berserk. Yeah. Thomas says, Vimoh, what do you think about the arrests of people on grounds of sedition or under UAPA? Absolutely wrong. UAPA as a law should not exist. This UAPA in spirit goes against the rule of law. If you can just declare someone a criminal and put them in jail without a trial, that's not a society based on justice. Same goes for sedition. Sedition has been put on in abeyance by the Supreme Court of India. But this new law code that Amit Shah is supposed to have brought recently uh, brings back sedition, like says that the word sedition is gone, but the same provisions are in another part of the new code. So yeah, oppressors cannot survive without unjust laws. Uh, Nayan says, how can a seer get away with publicly placing a bounty on Udanidhi's head? Yeah, he shouldn't, and yet he does, which is proof that Hindutva is not good for India because you, he's not a seer by the way. हर कोई जो कि एक मतलब सैफरन चोला पहन ले वो सीयर नहीं हो जाता. क्या सी कर रहा है वो? Dragoon says Jinnah did oppose India taking the name India precisely because of the international brand value. Yeah. NP says, Vimo, what are your new ideas playing in head in terms of the channel? I don't know, man. My only idea is to remain consistent right now. I'm going to uh, do reaction streams, but I don't think it will be possible on YouTube because of copyright issues. So on those I will do on Twitch, and that's the only idea I have right now. If you guys have more ideas about what we can do on the channel, please let me know. Shamik says, case is actually filed against Uday Stalin. Do you think BJP will drag it? For advantages in North India, yes, they will drag it. For Tamil Nadu, they will not talk about it. It's like how some BJP people went to Northeast and said, yeah, it's okay to eat beef. Yeah, it's going to be like that. Manav says Gandhi was casteist for sure, but was assassinated by uber castists. Um, Shashipuri says using propaganda, dogma, intimidation, and violence to gain political power in a region, then changing the identity history of said place. What would one call this? I don't know what it would be called elsewhere, but I think I think this person is a huge fan of Kyuki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahut serial. I don't know what name you would give to this. I think fascism and Nazism come to mind. Mm, Balaji, I'm going to have to put you on timeout because you are repeatedly pasting the same line despite me having clarified the issue. Taranga says what Udanidhi said at an anti-Sanatan Dharma conference, which is a common organizing thing in Tamil Nadu, was to eradicate, uproot Sanatan Dharma and not merely oppose Sanatanis actually. Uh, Sabari says if Bharat is spelled written as Bharat, then what will you say for Bharat? Pronunciation similar to Bharatnatyam. Who cares? Liking says Modi is modern India's Tughlaq. You really think he really cares about the consequences of his decisions if it can earn him a few political brownie points? The question is, are these decisions earning him political brownie points? Among his followers, sure. But among people who have grown tired of the BJP or who were never BJP supporters to begin with, not so much. Sumana says, yeah, that Bharat thing is so embarrassing. Hmm. Nazneen says, LOL Prime, when you say Telugu states are very religious, aren't you generalizing? अच्छा ये किसी ने बोला था क्या? Taranga says, hey, yes, if they manage to remove India from the constitution, then Amit Malviya will be cursing Tamil language as anti-national for not having a stand-alone letter for Bha. We have B, which is also P. Acha. Mm. Ansar says, what do you think if someone is agnostic? Why would I have to think about someone being agnostic? If someone is agnostic, they're agnostic. Pranav Chaudhary says, Balaji Raju, stop spamming or we will report you. Usko time out kar diya, don't worry. VDG says, people also worship Aurangzeb, the one who murdered Guru Tegh, perp a genocide who claims the death over 4.6 M Hindus due to leftist historians. Will you say on this? What are you asking? People also worship Aurangzeb. Yes, I'm aware that some people think Aurangzeb was amazing. The one who murdered Guru Tegh, yes, that also I know. A genocidal who claims what? A genocide who claims the death of over 4.6 million Hindus due to leftist. The death of 4.6 million Hindus due to leftist historians. Where? When did this happen? When did historians kill 4.6 million Hindus? Dhruv says the glass half empty feeling is that the narrative is heading towards 28 separate states, one kingdom, 1700 yawn. Taranga says, I encourage everyone to read the News Minute article on what Udaynidhi actually said and also watch their video on the India name removal and One Nation, One Election proposal for clarity. Siddharth says, I love the irony of the BJP accusing someone else of being like it. Yeah. Ragun says, had the unfortunate pleasure to see the clip of Times Now clip on Udaynidhi. Anand Ranga's entire shtick there was that he had Udaynidhi said the same about Islam, there would be civil war. Anand Raghunathan is also on record as having said that if bulldozer justice is happening in Uttar Pradesh, bulldozer injustice is happening in Uttar Pradesh, and the courts are not doing anything about it, it must be right, right? So if no legal action happens against Udaynidhi, Anand Raghunathan should conclude that he did something right, right? Kochi says, why do you think Congress fails to always capitalize on the sentiment like the way BJP does? It doesn't. I think Congress has gotten better at it. And the BJP's ability to capitalize on sentiment is overrated. It does not always capitalize on sentiment. Sometimes it backfires and hits it in the face, like it did in Karnataka. They also have lost elections in other states. We need to stop falling for their line कि election हरा के दिखाओ तब माने. वो लोग election हर almost every election they suffer losses, but they don't talk about it. They don't allow the media to talk about it. So we all have fallen into this illusion that they don't lose at all. They lose all the time, mostly because of their own mistakes. um, Rationalist student says India is not unique in it. Germany also has two names, Germany and Deutschland. Yeah. mm, mm, mm. Dragoon says we are supposed to be grateful for this tolerance. His book, How Hindus Are Ninth Class Citizen, loves to claim how Hindus are worse off compared to Muslims. Ansar says, bro, let me tell you guys something. I was posting a lot against this name thing on my public account, and right wing people suddenly spammed my account. I don't even have a meme page. Yeah. Imagine what I go through every time I post something. But on your account, if it is an Instagram account, you can go into the settings and turn on spam protection to the max. So that takes care of a whole lot of crap. Mm. Diet Mountain Dew says, since global leaders are not taking climate change as much seriously as they should, are we doomed? If they don't, we are. And therefore, I am a huge fan of young people who are making really loud noises in public places about climate change and disrupting those feel good. हम लोग कुछ तो कर रहे हैं, हम अपने घर के अंदर सोलर इक्विपमेंट लगा रहे हैं वगैरह वगैरह, उससे घंटा नहीं होने वाला अनलेस you stop taking money and passing laws in favor of large corporations which are doing a lot of polluting. This is not going to go away, and in that case, yes, we are screwed. Hmm. Illuminati says those Nippo Man ads hit differently now. Nippo Man? I don't know what ads those are. Jay Kishan says, imagine standing in a queue of a bank because of demonetization version 2.0 to change banknotes from the Reserve Bank of Bharat. Yeah. That's why I think they won't do it. Ansar says, what should I present if someone denies casteism? Well, it depends on their argument. On this channel, there's an entire playlist called Caste Conversations. Please go watch it. There are like 15 videos on it. almost every single talking point has been covered in those. VDJ says Gandhi was the reason for the partition of India and the Malabar Mopla killings. He supported the Khilafat movement. Have you read Hind Swaraj by him? I have not read Hind Swaraj by him, but putting the onus of any historical event on only one person is a bit misguided. I'm sure he played a role in a lot of things that are considered wrong now, and he definitely should be held accountable for it. But we should avoid saying Gandhi was responsible for all of this. A whole lot of historical factors have a role to play in anything that happens. There is a book called A Short History of Everything. Is that it? Hold on. No, The Evolution of Everything by Matt Ridley. And in the very opening pages of that book, he clarifies that one of the biggest mistakes we make when evaluating history is to say, okay, this thing happened because of that thing. The truth is that no thing happens because of one thing. It is usually a result of a whole lot of circumstances that have been in the works for a long time before it ever happens. Rahul says each time we think our country can't go any low, we hit a new level of nonsense wherein changing name of a country is worth discussing. Yeah. By the way, I'll just remind everyone that 9 बजे मेघनाथ के चैनल पे उसका लाइव स्ट्रीम शुरू हो रहा है. And right after this one ends, Meghnad's stream will end. So we have 10 more minutes, after which you guys should go and watch Meghnad's stream, and also going to talk about this all. Rohan says, after Bharat is milked enough, then Brahman Desh. Yes. Surya says, have you heard of proportional representation? If so, thoughts on it being implemented for India? I have heard of it. I shared a short clip of a reel on Instagram some time ago, and some people had a problem with it. Some people pointed out something. Now, my problem is not that proportional representation should not happen. My problem is more about the implementation of it and the intentions of the people who are implementing it. So you can totally say that we are going to reserve this many seats for this community, but if nothing is done about the social and cultural power that that community wields in society, then they will find a way to manipulate it to benefit themselves more. And that is my main problem with it. Mm, Manav says we can have only one type of food on our plate for eternity, one type of flower in the garden. We can only have one type of haircut for everybody. Will you love that world? So why only one? Exactly. This idea of one, like Hindutvavadis will never stop criticizing Abrahamic religions for being obsessed with one god, but everything else they want just one of. It's jealousy. It's Abrahamic jealousy. They want to steal from Christianity and Islam and turn Hinduism or India into a version of all that. They're not opposed to Abrahamic religions. If they were, they wouldn't be doing this shit. Karthik says, while I agree to Udayanidi's speech, DMK or AIDMK is far from original thought of Periyar, except for Karunanidhi and maybe Kanimoyi. None of the family or party members are atheists. Fair point. I'll grant that. Kishle says, completely agree with you on Gandhi criticism. Hmm. Ajan Pritam says, do you think that the Dravidian movement will have the demographic dividend over the cowbelt? Alliance with greater Bahujan tribal and farmers is necessary to, don't you think? I don't know, honestly. As far as numbers are concerned, sure, maybe not. But if this, I suppose Meghnad might be a better person to ask about this. If this new parliament building and the 888 seats in it, if that whole situation resolves itself in a way that the South ends up having less representation, then we might be looking at very serious problems. It may very well be important to ally with like-minded parties, but right now, what we have, let's see, here's the problem. We have the Hindutva side, and we have the other side, which is supposedly liberal, right? But even from them, the most we hear is Hindutva is bad, but Hinduism is good. Hindutva is bad, but I don't want to hurt anyone's religious sentiments. We have not had the Mayavati variety of fuck you politics for a long time. And if the South can bring that back, then it is worth having, I think, even if it means certain frayed nerves within the alliances between left liberals of South and left liberals of the North. I think it is worth having. because we do need at least one part of India to say this is horrible and should not be compromised with and should be gotten rid of completely. The right wing is totally able to say we should wipe out the left. But the left is always like, hey, we don't want to hurt your religious sentiments. But trust me, I know about this. I'm an atheist. I know how difficult it is to openly criticize religion, even when you want to do so more than anything else. If such a space can be created, we might actually have something that challenges solidly Hindutva, challenges Hindutva solidly. Um, Mauryan Empire says, what is your opinion on Ayurveda claiming that Sushrut invented surgery so it is more advanced than modern medicine? Sushrut did invent surgery. This is not in question. But Sushrut's inventing surgery does not mean that everything else in Ayurveda is uh, better than modern science. Uh, if someone wants to prove that an Ayurvedic remedy is better than modern medicine, then they can just do the tests. They can just, they can just have their medical treatments tested the way modern medicine is tested. And if they win in those tests, no one will be unhappy with it. They don't want to be tested. They just want their reputation to rely on the successes of certain people in ancient India. Surya says, whenever I discuss Jaggi with my parents, I feel as though I come across as a hater of Jaggi. How do I deal with this? There's nothing wrong with coming across as a hater of someone who's doing bad things. That's exactly what I was talking about. A lot of anti religion activism is not effective because it still has to supposedly respect religious sentiments. We have not had, uh, as I don't want to use the phrase again because I'm afraid my channel might get demonetized, but we have not had a really strong opposition to religion in India for quite some time, even from people who are opposed to religion. Taranga says there is also too much panic amongst many of us that having DMK as an ally with backfire. It is good that Congress has finally realized it can't out Hindutva the BJP, so it should ally with the very opposite. Yeah. Why did what major complaint did the BJP supporters have when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister of India? Their complaint was that he's trying to become Congress. He's trying to, yeah, Muslim appeasement, or he's not changing the constitution and everything. They said that the Congress has secularism as its foundational thing, so called. The BJP should embrace Hindutva. If it does not, it will just become a second rate Congress, right? Now times have changed, and Congress is you. It's so pissing off to see Madhya Pradesh mein Kamal Nath and Digvijay Singh go sit with that Baba. What's his name? Bageshwar Dham Baba. Digvijay Singh gave an interview on some channel and said, "नहीं नहीं, mind reading का power तो है उनमें." It's bakwas. So these compromises weaken the secular side. And Taranga is right. When if Congress puts its entire weight into allying with Dravidian politics, then it might just end up reviving the Congress. And according to Taranga, Congress is realizing it. I don't know if it is, but if it is, that's a good thing. Shaika, thank you for being a member. Vimoh, is there any possibility of imposing the one nation, one election anywhere in the near future? Shaikat, watch my conversation with Meghnad from last week on his channel, and also Meghnad is starting a live stream in about 2-3 minutes on his channel. So go there and ask him. He might be a better person to answer that question. Right. So we have 2 minutes left. There are still a lot of questions. Uh, okay, Human Rights and Peace Works and Efforts Union has come back. Vimoh, do you think? Please don't call me sir. Do you think that science and technology have come under capitalism, casteism, racism, sexism, and inhuman acts have taken the form of capitalism? What is your opinion on this? Yes, capitalism ends up feeding a whole lot of oppressive practices because capitalism fundamentally is about profit making. So, if supporting inhuman politics is profitable, they will do so. Capitalism even tries to profit from anti capitalist content. There is an entire range of films which are against capitalism that you can find on Amazon Prime, a company owned by the planet's most parasitic creature, Jeff Bezos. So yeah, capitalism does fuel all of this. Mihir says, do you think they brought the name change thing just to distract us from something? Also, have they confirmed the name change? No, the name change has not been confirmed. It is still floating around as a rumor. I think it has been brought in as a distraction to distract us from the Adani issue, which should be talked about more. Ajay, in normal justice system, burden of proof is on prosecution to prove the charges. In UAPA, it is the other way around. That's what makes it dangerous. That's what makes it unjust. It's just plain and unjust law. Sumana says, your rejected series was good. Why did you stop? Mostly because I was worried about copyright issues, but I'm going to bring it back. If, by the way, if you guys see complete, utter, superstitious garbage on social media, feel free to send it to me on Instagram. I can't promise that I will respond to all messages, but I see most of them. And some of the good stuff I will respond to on Instagram or even on my main YouTube channel. So thanks. Uh, पिंक पैंथर सेज विमो वो संडे वाले फन स्ट्रीम के बारे में कुछ सोचो ना हाँ सोचता हूँ ना यार मेरा प्रॉब्लम क्या पता है मैं संडे अपने लिए फ्री रखना चाहता हूँ and if at all I do a stream on Sunday it'll be in the morning when most people will not be there and I'll be doing it on Twitch which most people don't even use so we'll see मैं संडे का कुछ सोचता हूँ संडे संडे शाम या संडे मॉर्निंग क्या अच्छा रहेगा आई हैव मोर एनर्जी इन द मॉर्निंग्स Twitch Inosuke says they changed, yes, but it is already a surname for many Indians. Okay. Right. So we are at the 1 hour mark. I want to end the live stream here today. Thank you everyone for coming. Let me just do the whole do the whole spiel once before getting to the last few comments. Uh, if you want to support this channel and all the content that I make here on my main YouTube channel and on Instagram, you can do so by clicking the join button below and becoming a member of this channel. It all helps me. I'm an independent content creator. The money that you send, I use to pay my bills and to buy books and to pay for software that makes this live stream and other things possible. You can also support me by becoming a patron on Patreon, patreon.com/Vimoh, or by going to my website at www.vimoh.in and clicking the support button there, or you can just send me money directly at Vimoh@UPI, VIMOH@UPI. If you are watching this video at a later point of time, there is a thanks button below, super thanks. You can click that and make a one-time contribution also. So these are all the ways in which you can support the show, but only support it if you can. If you don't have money to spare, it's okay to not contribute. Thank you. So let me take a look at some comments that I may have missed. Wrestling Lyric says, string YouTube guy collected more than 25 lakhs rupees saying he will spread Bhagavad Gita. He planned big conversion type presentation pitch. To this day, he has not done anything, cheating innocent religious folks. Okay, I don't know if this is even true, so I cannot comment on it. So, but yeah, thank you for the 400 rupee super chat. Move 78, thank you for becoming a member. I think you have come back after some time, but thanks anyway. Much appreciated. So let me just take a look at the last couple of comments. Gunduchi, the moderator of my live chat, is finally here. And he says, whoa, we have a lot of folks here today. Entire Bharat is here or what? Thomas says, a few days ago, I was reading about a retired Chief Justice of India in the Parliament saying that the basic structure of the Constitution is changeable. Do you think there is any merit to the idea? I do not, and nor does the present CJI of India. What is an ex-CJI of India doing in the Rajya Sabha? And is this the same CJI who sat on a case which was about sexual exploitation by him? Yeah, I don't think we need to take him seriously. Rajesh says, hi Vimoh, religious practices and festivals being broken relationships together. What if festivals and rituals don't exist? As an atheist, won't follow it. If an atheist does not follow it, they will still exist. I think if the question is about if as an atheist you don't follow it, will you lose your relationship with the people who follow it? I guess that depends on the family. I'm an atheist and I have not lost my relationship with my family members on account of me not doing religious rituals or participating in festivals. But not every family is like mine. Maybe there are people out there who will suffer, and they have to make their own decisions about what is more important to them, their atheism or their family relationships. I can't help you there. Uh, Lohit says, guys, can we all agree that it's extremely fun watching the right collectively lose it after the Sanatan Dharma scene? Yeah, it is. It is. Vikas says, I mean, that's my view. I don't know if others think this is funny. Vikas says, I noticed that whoever is making content supporting right-wing politics and spreading hate and against our democracy gets more views and likes than people like you. उनका time चल रहा है. अच्छा time आएगा. Don't worry. Brotto says, I wonder if the country's leaders who received the invitation were left confused. If no country ever mentions Bharat during their interactions, will it be an embarrassment for the government? I think that remains to be seen. Although I do think that it's quite low class to use a gimmick like this at an event like G20. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and thank you everyone for leaving comments. Uh, have I missed a message or something? Taranga says absolutely, and Congress having Karnataka Congress leaders as well as yucky but powerful fellows like Karthi Chidambaram supporting the anti-Sanatan Dharma argument is good change. So Taranga is hopeful about this happening. I remain slightly suspicious, but okay, we'll see. Monica says, I like that line, world's most parasitic creature. I will use that. First live stream memo, keep up. Thank you, Monica, and thank you for liking the phrase also. Illuminati says Vimo's biggest enemies are Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the mosquito, like my biggest enemy is the mosquito whose voice I hear in my ears. Mm. Twitch Inosuke says he read my comment, so it is. Twitch chat seems empty. Yeah, I'm not looking at Twitch chat. I'm looking at StreamYard, which combines both chats. So yeah, Taranga says we can and should choose our own family. Chosen families can include bio, socio, legal family members, but doesn't have to. Yeah. I think the idea of the blood based family is overrated. Many people create their own families based on their lived experiences and people who they have shared lived experiences with. And in many cases, your blood family can actually be quite toxic and detrimental to your growth as an individual. So don't feel obligated to think of family as good just because that's what popular media and popular culture tells you. Families can be bad, and if your family is bad, feel free to ditch them and create your own family. Right. So, thank you everyone for joining. Let me just remind you that the next time I see you, it will be Saturday. And on Saturday, I will take live callers and we will talk about stuff. So, until then, please take care of yourselves and bye. Good night.